Halo car is a word that gets thrown around a lot. Manufacturers, dealers, and creators all like to say that every latest and greatest supercar is a halo car, when in reality, few are. So what does that word actually mean and why should anyone care? The idea of a halo car has its basis in the halo effect, which is a well-known advertising tactic where consumers act favorable towards a brand if they have had positive experiences with other products that the brand creates. A good example of this is how the original iPod got people excited for Apple's other products at the time, driving sales of the brand as a whole. Car manufacturers are in the business of making money, except for Saab and TVR and Lamborghini. Wow, you think more people would figure out how to sell cars. And so, many Halo cars are either built from the ground up to take advantage of the halo effect, or if they fit the criteria, are pushed to be successful as Halo cars. The criteria that I think makes a successful Halo is that they should generate excitement for the brand, be considered the pinnacle of what the company can do technologically, and finally be able to either interest people in lesser models that the company offers, or drastically improve the company's reputation. You're probably thinking, I have no idea what that means, so here are some examples from the history of both successful and failed Halo cars. There's the original Audi R8, the 2005 Ford GT, Lexus LFA, Toyota 2000 GT, and the M12 Force Application Light Reconnaissance Vehicle. Wait,
how'd that get in there?
The R8 is probably the best example of a successful Halo car in the last 20 years. Before its introduction back in 2006, Audi was doing pretty well, but was definitely still considered a lower tier of luxury car company, especially compared to their rivals in Stuttgart and München. They also, despite being extremely successful at racing at the time, had no good sports cars in their lineup. The R8 changed all that. It was the company's first true exotic. With beautiful styling, a naturally aspirated V8 in the middle, and a 6-speed manual, it was a world-class sports car unlike anything Audi had previously made. Having a name plucked from a multi-Le Mans winning race car certainly didn't hurt. Then, as if to drive the cultural point home, the Germans got Iron Man to drive one, and just like that, Ingolstadt had created their first Halo. It definitely got people excited about Audi again and was every bit as good as the Porsche 911, but what really set the R8 apart was Audi's ability to leverage excitement around it into renewed interest around the rest of their cars. The famous strip of LED lights at the front soon found their way onto the front of most of Audi's more normal models, like the A4. People loved the idea of walking into a showroom and seeing something that they could afford that looked a little bit like the car Iron Man drove. Audi also released the Q5 and S5 around the same time, and both were designed to look a little bit like the R8 and capitalize on its hype. Being both a good product as well as riding the wave of excitement, the Q5 went on to become Audi's bestseller in the US. The integration of the new sports car meant that even if most people wouldn't buy one, its effect on the rest of the lineup was felt in a big way. Fast forward to today, and Audi is very much on the same level as their German rivals, and the R8 was a significant factor in that transformation. Another Halo car that succeeded was the Toyota 2000 GT. Before its creation, Toyota's reputation was for making cars that didn't really work outside of Japan, and especially didn't work in the US. The first model ever sold in the US was the Toyo Pet Crown, which on an endurance run from Los Angeles to New York, attempting to prove its reliability, barely made it to Vegas before the run had to be abandoned. Consumers didn't care about these small, unreliable cars from Japan. To help fix this, Toyota set out to create a sports car to compete with the best in the world. Just 5 years later, the 2000 GT was released to worldwide acclaim. With gorgeous styling, a powerful straight-six engine, and a stunning interior, it signaled Toyota was serious. More than just a pretty face, in 1966 it set 13 FIA speed and endurance records. Toyota was now serious competition to the world's best, and Porsche showed this by having to go back and create the 911R to chase after the records just taken from them by the Japanese. The magnum opus of all this reputation building happened when a roadster version of the 2000 GT appeared in You Only Live Twice, immortalizing the Toyota in Bond history and cementing the company's reputation as a force to be reckoned with. While the Audi and Toyota both showcase how successful halos are created, many others don't quite hit the mark. Two good examples of this are the first generation Ford GT and the Lexus LFA. Both are unquestionably halo cars, generating a ton of hype, and were the top of what their companies offered at the time. However, neither really achieved that third point of drawing people in to buy lesser models or drastically improving the company's reputation. Part of this can be explained that while the R8 was definitely the top of Audi's lineup, its price was not so far removed from the models already on offer. Lexus certainly did have a customer base willing to spend, but while the R8 was around $100,000, the LFA was well over $350,000. That gulf was just too large for most buyers. The GT was more in line with the Audi, costing around $150,000, but the rest of Ford's lineup was significantly cheaper compared to Audi and Lexus, and so again the gulf was too big. These price differences meant that there was very little overlap between existing customers and those who could afford these halos, making it difficult to get people walking to showrooms to care. Another reason was that neither company capitalized on their halo cars the way Audi did. While the Germans were restyling models to resemble the R8 and changing their whole lineup around, Ford and Lexus were content to simply release their cars and hope that they were enough on their own. This strategy, to put it mildly, did not work, as while Ford did sell all their GTs in quick order, no one was suddenly driven to go buy a Taurus. The LFA fared even worse, as Lexus struggled just to sell it, much less interest people in other models. Halo cars matter because they represent capitalizing on a moment and using its effect on buyers to the maximum. If done right, they can drastically change what people expect from a company and push them to new heights, or they can provide such a splash that a new brand is instantly respected, as shown with the R8 and the 2000 GT. The GT and LFA, however, showcase how, if managed incorrectly, a halo can become an expensive island for a brand with little effect on its surroundings. If you like this video and want to support me, please subscribe.